Hey everyone! Today I'm working on a Silkwing-Mudwing hybrid named Python. I wanted to do like a warm, sort of yellow toned dragon today, but I got derailed by pictures of ball pythons, and then 2 hours later I woke up with this on my computer. Yeah, but jokes aside, I discovered ball pythons and they're kinda cute, not gonna lie, so that's what I based the dragon on today. And I think she turned out both quite pretty and recognizable as far as her inspiration went, so that's a bonus. Now, there may not be many hints at Silkwing genetics beyond her coloring, but that's just because I wanted this design to be pretty limited in the line art, so scales wouldn't be getting in the way of the design itself. That's something I do a lot when I want to have a more complicated design. I'll leave the line art as simple as possible so it doesn't look strange once I go in and color. On the bright side, it does cut down on the time I spend doing line art, which you all know is my least favorite part of the process, hands down. I actually spent a lot of time coloring Python, which makes sense considering how many markings she has. It took a little trial and error to figure out what exactly I wanted, especially with her wings, but I'm quite happy with the end result. I tried to copy the face markings on Python's around her eye, that little white strip, and I think that really did the trick to tie everything together. Also, on her lower legs, I was going to add in some more blobs of color, but I wanted them skinny to tie it in with her face, and they ended up looking like tiny snakes curling around her legs, which I actually love, even if it wasn't intentional. I kind of picked the tribes just to match the colors I wanted to use. Mudwing for warm colors and Silkwing for color freedom, but also for the long, skinny body type. I really wanted her to look kind of snaky, and obviously Mudwing was the wrong tribe for that plan, so her Silkwing mostly shows up in her long, thin neck and tail, besides a few scale details and some tiny antennae. I think antennae for Silkwings are pretty important sensory organs, probably a major part of how they see and sense the world, but pythons are pretty small and have very little feeling. So to other Silkwings, that's really strange to see, but Python doesn't mind it much, and among other tribes, the small antennae are often mistaken for extra horns or spines, and generally ignored amidst all of her more interesting features. Something I always find funny, I love giving my dragons long arching tails, and that is super fun to sketch because you get these like fun, easy lines where you can kind of just whip it out and have fun with it. But the line art for tails like that is a nightmare because they're so long and smooth that any imperfection in the line art seems like it's smacking me in the face. I did try to make this dragon as skinny as I could. I feel like my body types can kind of be samey sometimes, so I'm always trying to make myself push the bill on what I can draw without second guessing myself. I want a lot of variety with my shapes, but sometimes I struggle with that, so I'm happy to say I think I did a good job today. Her wings are quite skinny and long, partially thanks to her Silkwing heritage. They have thinner, longer wings, and I didn't want her to have four, so I went for more of a shape match. Silkwing wings and I have a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I love how they look, but a lot of the time they annoy me, and I can't figure out how to position them in a way that leaves me satisfied. My process for her design pretty much went like all my other hybrids, though. I had a color and a pattern I wanted to incorporate, and I pretty much planned the dragon to match. I picked tribes that would give me the colors and body type that I wanted, and from there I just played around with different ideas to see what I liked. Python is a sweetie. She loves dragonettes stretching out in the sun and the caramel drops imported from Pantala. I don't have a lot of backstory thought up for her, but I just get the vibe of someone just really chill and easygoing, the type of dragon you could just hang out with without needing to talk or have some kind of activity to get through. If I were to pin down a time for her to live in, it'd be a while after the events of the books, a happy future for Pyria, where hybrids are both more common and more accepted, so her oddities are easily accepted and she's far from the only unusual dragon around. One interesting fact about Python? She doesn't remember anything before the age of 2. When she was little, she got separated from her parents during a journey to her current city, and was attacked by a crocodile in the swamps. For a dragonette, that's a pretty dangerous situation, and though she was rescued, the injuries she sustained resulted in her suffering total amnesia. By now, though, most of those injuries have faded, leaving only a blank spot in her memory and a nick in her horn. Despite this, Python is very outgoing, though she's better with younger dragons and dragonettes. She's happy to play games with them, help them practice flying or hunting, or tell them stories of her travels when she was younger. I really like how this hybrid turned out. I think the design is just really delicate and pretty, but it's nothing wild or crazy. The colors are super warm and pleasing, but I love how her markings are just this special little unique thing. I'm sure plenty of OCs have been designed off of pythons, so this design may not be anything groundbreaking, but I'm quite pleased with it. Like the other hybrids I've designed during this series, Python is available to bid on over at my DeviantArt, where there's an auction open till tomorrow at noon if you're interested. Also, my DeviantArt has lots of other art if you want to check that out too. If you enjoyed this video, I have plenty of design videos up both in this series and in my other series, What's Its Face? So thank y'all for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire, no more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words, stop stalling.